I'd like to focus on a song today by an artist that I haven't really talked too much about on this channel, and that is Elton John. And this particular song, I think, is a good one to look at. First of all, it's an instrumental. This one is called Song for Guy, and it's from 1978. So what we're going to do is I'll show you some simple ways to play this, and then I'll show you a little bit more about how Elton John played it. And in addition, we will look at some of the compositional techniques that Elton John uses in not only this particular piece, but in a lot of his songs. As you're taking a look at the sheet music, you'll notice, of course, we are in the key of C, and this particular piece, it doesn't really have like a verse and a chorus and things like that because it is an instrumental. So it's broken down into, you can break it down into three distinct sections. It starts with an introduction. Then you have what you could call section A, which is like the main melody, if you like. And then you have section B, where it goes through some interesting chord changes, which we'll look at. And then it goes back to section A, section B, and so on. And then the song ends with a repeated a repetition of the introduction. Anyway, I'm going to put a link to the original video featuring Elton John in the description, and then you'll be able to see how it goes. You'll notice we begin here in the key of C with the C major chord. I'm going to play it basic chords in the left hand. I know this is written out like a piano solo, but I want to show you a simple way to play it straight off. So we have C and then the melody. So the melody is very simple here. You have this phrase, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I still can't talk and play at the same time. What makes this a little challenge for me to do that is it's syncopated. 2, 3, 4, 1. And then you have a repeat of that phrase, but it's a step lower. And then it lands here. And now we add the chords. Now, here is a technique that Elton John uses in a lot of his music. He'll either use an ascending or, in this case, a descending bass line. And so the first note in the bass is C. We're going to fill it out and make a C major chord. But then you'll notice the next bass note is B. And if you see the chord symbol, it's G. So what we are really playing here is G over B. So here's the first three measures. And then the bass continues to descend. It goes chromatically now down to B flat. So he uses a B flat major chord there. And then the B flat chord leads us to F. So you're kind of going a little ways out on the circle of fifths and then making your way back. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the intro. Now we get to the meat of the piece, if you like. This is the basic theme. If we take the melody on its own, we're going to play it up here. It's just, once again, we've got that syncopation, which means it's almost impossible for me to try and count it and play it. I can give you the lead in though. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very simple. Then it repeats. And then the figure is the same, but now it moves down. then it repeats again. So the chords, it starts on C, and then notice that next chord is D minor over C. So the way you can play this in the left hand, when you're just playing the melody with one note in the right, you can play it like this. So you have C as your root, or not the root, but rather the bottom note. There's the root of our D minor chord. So there's D minor on top of C. And you can change the chord on the syncopated, it's like the and of beat 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Then it changes to F. You'll notice, though, I stayed on F, but actually what happens there is it goes to G over F. And so you have the same thing. Here's our G major chord, and then here's F. So it's like this. And that fits with the melody very nicely. Okay, so here is the entire A section played very simply. You can use that rhythm in the left hand there. Now we get to the interesting section. Well, the whole song is interesting, but here's where it starts to veer away from the key of C. As you can see, no pun intended, as you can observe, the intro is basically C and then G over B, B flat. So that chord is not actually part of C major. It's basically going a little ways out on the circle of fifths and then working its way back. And then back to C. And then in the A section, it's just two chords essentially with this one chord, the D minor over C and the G over F. They're like passing chords because you could just... But that's not quite as interesting, so that's why we have this other chord. Also, once again, notice the descending bass line. That is definitely an Elton John trademark. Perhaps you recognize this song. That's, of course, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Once again, that descending bass line. He also uses an ascending bass line. If you remember the song Love Lies Bleeding, the bass line is going up and the chords are built on those ascending bass notes. But anyway, getting back to the B section of Song for Guy. We've been in the key of C, pretty solid, but now all of a sudden we have this chord. This is G minor over B flat. Which quickly resolves to B flat. So it's... So where did this G minor come from? Well, this is actually a borrowed chord from the parallel natural minor. So let me explain how that works. So naturally, C major, that's the C major scale. Now, when you go to the parallel minor, that would be C minor. There are 3 minor scales. That's C harmonic minor, C melodic minor. This is C natural minor. When we build chords on each note of the C natural minor scale, we end up with G minor. So what's happened is he's in the key of C, and instead of like going to G, we go to G minor. And in this case, G minor over B flat. Elton loves to use inverted chords in the sense that he'll play a chord in his right hand like this, but he'll use a different note other than the root. Still a note from the chord, but he'll put that in the bass. So it goes to G minor over B flat and resolves to B flat. And the melody is still that same syncopated figure, which is a pattern throughout this song. It's this da-da-da-dum, dum, dum. Now, it feels like we're going to be modulating somewhere here. And so you see the next chord is D minor over A. This would be D minor in second inversion. So it sounds like we are modulating now to D minor. In the key of C major, G minor is a borrowed chord, and so it can act as the 4 chord, the minor 4 chord in the key of D minor. It leads very naturally to D minor. So we're here. And now, to make sure that we know for sure that we are in A minor, he throws in the 5-7 chord of D minor. And then we have this repeating back to the G minor over B flat, to the B flat. We're still got the A minor chord. Now you're thinking, all right, we are firmly in D minor. We've got to work our way back to C major somehow. Now, the easiest thing to do would be go, because D minor is the minor 2 chord in the key of C. So that's the quick and easy way, but Elton takes a more scenic route. So he does this. And here we're back on the D minor chord. It's actually D minor over A. And now look what happens. He goes to G, first inversion, like G over B. And then he jumps to E in root position, which leads us chromatically to F. And then one more surprise. He throws in this E flat chord. Where did that come from? Well, it leads us back to G, because if you take this E flat chord, you can see the 3 notes, E flat, G, and B. If you raise the B flat to B and lower the E flat to D, kind of a borrow there from the song Something by George Harrison. Same technique. Beautiful progression. And now we're back to section A. So here's the simple way that you can play this song. Just playing simple melody in the right, chords in the left. Going to the B flat, and then here is section A, and then the F, and then we'll skip the repeat for now and go right into section B. A7, and here comes all the interesting chords. E, There's the E flat, G, and then we're back. Whoops. Once again, I try to talk and play at the same time, and I can never do it. Now, that's the simple way to play it. But let's take a look now at how Elton John actually played it, sort of an approximation of the way he did it. What he's doing now is he's playing chords in the right hand, and that melody is on the top. Let's go back to the introduction. Now he's playing G, C, E in the right hand and just a single note in the left. So the melody is still there, but it's now the top note of each chord that he's playing. So he'll play a chord, and then you can add just a little touch of the melody back to a chord. There's our B flat. And then here. And then we get to section A. So this is pretty simple now. Actually, you can play the C down here. If you want, you can play it in octaves in the left hand. Now the sheet music just has a C there, but you can fill in the whole chord. Once again, you're playing a popular song, so you don't have to play this exactly as it's written. This is written out in a simple piano arrangement, but you can adapt it to whatever is comfortable for you. So that's section A. Then section B, you don't have to play this if your hand is having trouble stretching over that whole G minor chord, which you're playing on top of B flat. Just play the top three notes. I missed the syncopation there. Let's do that again. Bass could be down here. There's one of Elton John's famous chord in the right hand, but not the root in the left. It's an inversion. A7. And then this repeats. And then here comes that interesting chord progression. And then we're back to the A section. Now, I'm going to create a play-along version of this that will be available to patrons of At Home with Music. So if you'd like to become a patron, what I'm going to be doing there is playing through it first in the very simple version. And we're going to take it very slow so that you can play along. Then I'll play it again using the chord version that we just went over very briefly. We'll start very slowly, and you can play along with me. And then if you're really brave, you can click on the link and go see Elton's original video for this song and play along with Elton. If you'd like to have access to that special play-along version of this very interesting Elton John instrumental, then go ahead and go to my Patreon page, and it won't cost you very much. In fact, it's a lot cheaper than a private piano lesson. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and for playing along, and I hope you found this interesting and helpful. If there are any other Elton John songs that you'd like to explore, let me know in the comments, because I know how to play quite a few of his songs. In fact, I did a live stream once where I played through how he wrote songs in pretty much every key available. There's a couple that he didn't use, but I know he has written songs in every major key and most of the minor keys as well. Let me know in the comment section if you have any other questions or comments. You can put those in there. I answer every comment, and I should say I respond to every comment and answer every question. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one.